In today's adventure, we're exploring an abandoned mansion turned hospital. Originally built in the late 1800s as a private residence, the estate was sold around the turn of the 19th century to a prominent regional doctor who transformed it into a hospital for women who suffered from nervous exhaustion. It operated in this fashion as a women's-only facility for nearly a century before being sold again in the late 1980s, and this time turned into a psychiatric hospital for young children. This final iteration barely lasted a decade, though, before the facility closed its doors for good, due to a financial dispute with the local government. And while there have been a few interested buyers in the years since, each deal thus far has fallen through, leaving the former hospital to sit vacant and slowly rot away. I'm here to explore the current state of the building and see what might be left. I was immediately caught off guard by being able to enter right through the front door, as I was under the impression it was boarded up and I would need to use a side basement door that we'll see later. Knowing the building has been heavily used by squatters in recent years, I was on edge about who else I might find while exploring. I found it interesting that despite the rest of the house being decayed or torn apart, these corbels have been seemingly untouched. There used to be a giant piece of stained glass artwork covering the skylight above the stairs, which I was hoping would still be in place. Interestingly, I didn't find any pieces of stained glass on the stairs or ground floor below the opening. Almost every room in the house had some sort of fireplace, whether it was decorative like this one or functional. Despite the overall state of the building, there were still seemingly intact pieces of art scattered throughout, like stained glass in a few of the windows and these paintings that flanked one of the functional fireplaces. The solitary laminate folding table and empty snack food bags were certainly a little out of place and caught me off guard as they were the only things I came across indicating any sort of current use of the building. There was a second set of patient rooms through these doors on the other side of the house, which I was hoping to explore. However, this door was stuck shut despite having no handle, and the door on the other side was locked. Considering how spooked I had already allowed myself to get at this point, I was concerned they were shut and locked for a reason, and decided to leave them be. I hadn't noticed until this point, but a lot of the rooms had drop ceilings installed. The original ceilings were actually a foot or two higher, with windows and who knows what other interesting pieces of architecture that were blocked by the fake ceiling. Red flowers like these were ominously scattered throughout the building. They didn't appear to be strategically placed, so I have no idea why they were there or what they meant. The entire hospital complex at one point consisted of 29 patient rooms across several buildings as well as several recreational buildings. I wanted to see if any of the other buildings were as accessible as the main house. But first, I thought I'd see if I could explore any of the basement despite not having a real flashlight, since that was the entrance I thought I was going to be using. I had planned on fully exploring the basement. However, without a more sufficient light source, my nerves got the best of me and I decided against going in any farther. Large pieces of the floor were missing from this building, so I didn't feel like pushing my luck and possibly falling through the floor. The building in the back had a large tree that had fallen on it, and the building out front was all but completely overgrown, making access to any of them tricky at best. With the state of the building being as poor as it is, I can't help but assume its only realistic and eventual fate is to be demolished. However, I hope a buyer eventually sees its restoration as worthy of the time, money, and effort it would take to bring the estate in some fashion back to its former glory.